Hey guys, Ian Flanagan here, and on this week's Freedom Friday Mastermind, we have the one and only Scott Lewis. Scott has been in the trenches building EXP for the past 7.5 years. His story is gonna absolutely blow you away, and he's also gonna share with you the #1 thing that you have to have in order to build a massive revenue share organization here at EXP Realty. If you have any questions, type those into the comment section below. Give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel, and also share this with your team members. You guys are gonna get a lot of value out of this one, so hope you enjoy the interview.
If you guys don't know who Scott Lewis is, you guys need to put your cell phones down, take notes, get the pen and paper out. Guys, this is going to be fire. He brings fire all the time. I've been in the trenches with him for 7 years. He actually gave me that life-changing phone call 7 years ago. I was actually in New Braunfels, Texas, leaving one of my agents. We were on some listing appointments together, an agent on my team, and we had lunch together. And I was driving back home to San Antonio, Texas, about a 30-minute drive, on the phone with my dad. And I get this 210 number calling. I didn't know who it was. Obviously, the number wasn't in my phone. Didn't know who it was. Was thinking in my head, maybe it's a referral. Maybe it's a buyer or seller looking to buy or sell. And so I said, hey, Dad, let me take this call real quick. I'll call you right back. Let me see who it is. Well, you know what? It was that life-changing phone call we talk about all the time. Scott Lewis called me up. I was on the top of a list in San Antonio, an up-and-comers list, and he wanted to share the opportunity with me. And at that time, I really wasn't willing to and wanting to take a look. Well, 2 hours later, my whole real estate world turned upside down because my brokers, I found out, were in the news of doing something very bad. And so I needed to make a move. So I picked up the phone. I called Scott back and I said, you called me 2 hours ago. I said, no, I wasn't really open. Now I'm open-minded to hear what you have to say. Let's talk. And so he said, hey, you know what? It's about 99% visual. I've got a few videos. Let me just send them to you. Let's connect tomorrow. I know it's getting late. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your kids. I hear them in the background. Let's connect tomorrow. But I understand that you've got a problem. I want to help you solve that problem. I went home, watched the video with my family, watched the video with my dad, and I said, oh my God, this is it. I've got to make a move. I'm not going to Keller Williams. I'm not going to Century 21. I'm not going to Caldwell Banker. I'm not going to Remax. This is it. I'm going to this small little company that's called EXP Realty, and I'm forever grateful for that phone call. Scott's changed my life. I know those are big words for those of you that might be a special guest or just now joining us at EXP, and how can a brokerage firm change your life? Well, EXP Realty paid me over $1 million last year just in the revenue share by sharing it with a few agents who shared it with a few agents who shared it with a few agents. Scott said, follow my lead and I'll help you get financially free as a realtor 7 years ago. And since then I followed his lead. We've been in the trenches. We've done Zoom calls. We've traveled together. We've done masterminds. We've sat on the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning and cried together because we were frustrated because an agent didn't join us and I didn't understand why. And he was my second dad. He was my older brother. He was there to help me, guide me, and coach me and keep me on the right path. Right, guys? So I'm forever grateful. So welcome to the call, my man. Let's give it up for Scott Lewis. Welcome, my friend.
Well, thank you, Pat. First and foremost, I want to make sure that everyone can hear me okay. You know how it is in Puerto Rico with this cell. So if I'm cutting out or something, let me know, and maybe I can turn my video off. But hopefully the audio's good.
Yep.
The audio's good. Okay, great. Well, thanks again for that great introduction. It never gets old thinking about and going back, like Pat said, 7 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been 7 years, but at the same time, it's not hard to believe because it's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot more ups and downs. Obviously, life has been really good, but it didn't come easy, right? And I think a lot of people, and by the way, thank you for taking your time to be here this morning. I see a lot of familiar faces, but I see a lot of new faces, and then I see a lot of black screens with no faces, and I'd love to see your faces. So let's do this. Everybody encourage all those people that don't have their video on to turn on their videos. I know you don't have your makeup or whatever, but it's okay, right? I can promise you, one of the challenges that we're dealing with, and it's a big challenge, is people are becoming more and more disconnected because of the world that we live in. And I can tell you that when you show up, turn on your video cameras, it makes a difference. It also makes a difference to the people that are speaking to you, and it makes a difference in the way you receive it. So yeah, turn on your cameras, plug in. It's 2023. It's the lifestyle we're in, so we might as well embrace it. But man, yeah, 7 years ago, that phone call, thank God he did answer the phone. And thank God, you know, I was sick that day, believe it or not. And I didn't want to make any phone calls. I didn't feel like making phone calls. But Rob Flick and Gene Frederick were both coming to town. And they said they wanted to do some one-on-one meetings for me. And so I lined up one-on-one meetings for 2 days straight. And I think the one with Bob and Pat probably went about 3 or 4 hours. I think we maybe shoved a few other meetings. You know when you got a leader, right? You know when you've got somebody that's a game changer, and you just focus on it. You know, you just look for that person to show up in your life and your business. You know, we all need running buddies. We all need someone to lock arms with. You can't do this alone. I promise you. I don't know anyone that's done it alone. I could not have done it without Pat. I could not have done it without Rob and Gene and Glenn and so many other people that poured in to me in the beginning, you know, that they kept the fire alive and kept it going, because it's delayed gratification. What does that mean? What is delayed gratification? You know, I think about that. I mean, I don't think I got a decent rev share check for 6 months, and we were running hard. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, it just started piling on, right? And then it's like, man, I should have ran harder last month. I should have talked to more people. Because when that delayed gratification starts to kick in, it motivates you. But the challenge is, what most people do is during that time, they don't have the faith. They don't have a running partner. They don't have an accountability partner. They don't have someone to keep them going and moving when it's tough. And they stop, or they slow down, or they quit. Worst case scenario, right? And so why do we do these calls? Why 7 years later do we still have these conversations? Why are we still doing this? Because we know that if just one person makes a decision, it's a game changer.
That's right.
If just one of you hears something today that changes you inside and gets you to take that extra step, or keeps you in the game 1 week longer, 1 month longer, you have one more opportunity, one more chance, one more time at bat where maybe you get your Pat Hayes, or your Connor, or your Chris, or your Ian, or your, you know, Mike Sherrard, or your Rob Flick, or your, you know, I mean, they're there, right? But you have to turn over enough rocks to find them. And most people are not builders in this business. Most people, matter of fact, 95% of the agents that join EXP don't ever focus on recruiting. And that's okay. We're all about selling more real estate. And by the way, if you need to sell real estate to pay your bills, go sell a lot of real estate, right? I promise you, the more real estate you sell, the more agents you're going to meet, the more confidence that you're going to get, the more credibility you're going to have in the conversations that you have, and the leadership that you have with those agents is going to begin to put your business on a trajectory where all of a sudden you're attracting people to you. And maybe it's just a buyer's agent on your team. Maybe that's your first recruit, right? But that's still on your revenue share, right? And then you teach them to do what you do, and then they become a listing agent, and they get a buyer's agent, and now you got two, right? That's why this is so powerful. And some people, I think, look at it and they see Pat and what he's done. They go, 5,200 agents. Are you kidding me? I'd like to have two.
Yeah.
Right. I'd like to have four. Right. And so, you know, I get it. I mean, I remember feeling those feelings. I remember having those feelings. Right. And I remember the first year, at the end of the first year, had 360 agents on my team. And I look around now and I go, that was nothing. There's a guy in Florida right now, his first year is not done, and he's already put in 1,300 agents in the last 11 months. Makes look what Pat and I did look like nothing, right? I mean, and so you look around and you go, is the opportunity still there? Is it still alive? Can I still do what Pat Hayes did? That's why I'm here. That's why I do these calls, because I know that if one person on this call sees it, gets it, and understands it, and gets convicted or has a want, need, or a desire. And by the way, this does not happen without a burning desire.
Yeah.
You have to have a burning desire. Pat had a burning desire. I had a burning desire. Rob Flick had a burning desire. Gene Frederick had a burning desire. I mean, we all had that in common. So if you don't have a burning desire, I'd say get on your knees tonight and ask for one, because that's what it's going to take for you to get this done. If you're just comfortable, if you're just happy right where you're at, then this is not for you. You're not going to have that internal, fortitude to go make this happen. You're going to have something that's driving you to get you to that point where the revenue share starts to duplicate. Because that hardest part is the first 3 months. The hardest part of building this is getting to 20 agents. That's why the opportunity is so incredible, because most people will never do it. And the other thing that I'll tell you is the faster you go, the easier it is.
Yep.
The slower you go, the harder and more painful it is. Because if you go slow, it duplicates slow, right? If you go fast, it duplicates fast. People replicate and do what you do. And so, how many of you, I don't recognize a lot of you, but how many of you on here have a desire to build a revenue share organization? If you just raise your hand and hold it up for me.
Heck, I got 5,200 agents and I want more. I want more. I want 10,000 agents. I want 20,000 agents.
Yeah, so that's why I'm here too, right? I'm building, I'm growing, we want more, right? So most of you raised your hands. How many of you that raised your hands have already attracted at least one agent to EXP? Hold them up. All right, about half of you. Congratulations. Congratulations, that's huge. Why is that huge? Because if you can attract one, you can attract two. And if you can attract two, you can attract 1,000. And if you can attract 1,000, you can attract 10,000. It's just a matter of doing what you did to get the one enough to get the duplication. Most of us that have built huge organizations outside of a few rock stars, that most of us have done this organically and have recruited 2 to 3 agents a month on a consistent basis. It's all I ever did. Now, I had months where I had 4 or 5, right? But I also had months where there were 0. So on an average, it's been 2 to 3 agents a month, every single month. And if you do that over time, it starts to duplicate. If you consistently do the efforts. And I want to share something with all of you, because I think this is really, there's 2 things that I think about when, I hear all the time, like, well, I'm going to go to the competition because I want to be Pat Hayes. I'm going to go to the competition because I want to be, Rob Flick or Gene Frederick. First of all, that's just crazy. If you knew what we went through in the beginning to get this thing rocking and rolling, you would never want to do that again, right? It's so much easier to build now than it ever was. The second thing is January 1 of this year, I set some new goals, some pretty big goals, right? And one of those goals was between now and March the 31st, between January 1st and March 31st, I was going to have 50 conversations a week with brand new agents. You say, well, why are you doing that? Well, number one, because I need floor qualifiers, which is to unlock my level 7. So I know by doing that, it'll get that done. But number two, I haven't really talked to a lot of agents, like made cold calls in a couple of years. You know, agents come to me here and there. I meet them and I recruit them. I might meet them on a cruise, or I might meet them traveling, or somebody refers me and I build a relationship. And I've recruited a lot of agents that way, but I really haven't been in the trenches for 2 or 3 years, just picking up the phone and calling agents. I'm going to let you know some really awesome news. It's mind blowing, honestly. It is so much easier to recruit now, and so much easier to have conversations with agents than it was 7 years ago. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. They want to talk to you. And all I do is say, hey, look, so-and-so gave me your name, or I saw you on, Facebook, and I was blown away by what I saw, or I saw you on LinkedIn, and I'm like, man, this person's got it going on. I should talk to this person. And I tell them a little bit about myself and say, would you be open for just a 5 to 10 minute conversation about what it would look like if you were to join our team? And 9 times out of 10, they're going, yeah, sure. I'd love to. I don't try to sell them. I don't try to pitch them, right? I'm done. Once they've said okay for that, I'm finished. I'm off the phone, right? What am I going to do? I'm going to reschedule, because the next time I call them, the second time I call them, it's no longer a cold call. It's now a warm call, right? So the warm call, and I send them an email so they can watch a video or two. I send them to my website. I send them a few text messages. Hey, man, it's great to talk to you. I can't believe what I saw yesterday. Send a little news article, something from Inman. I just start building that relationship before my next call. And so now it's a warm call. And now when I get on that Zoom call with them, or that second call, I start dripping on them about the opportunity, and I start asking them questions about their business. Where do you want to go? Do you have an exit strategy? Are you making passive income? Do you have 3 revenue streams? And I talk a lot about, building 3 lead generation sources and 3 revenue streams. Why does a stool have 3 legs, right? A stool has 3 legs because it never wobbles. 2 and it falls down, 1 and it falls down, 4 it's kind of unlevel, right? I always want 3 incoming streams of leads and 3 incoming streams of revenue, minimal, right? So I'm talking to them about that, and they're like, man, no one's ever talked to me this way. Well, how would you like to learn how to do that? We do that all the time at EXP. Sell real estate, we earn stock, and we build revenue share. There's your 3 revenue streams. Does your company have that now? No. How much stock did you have? You've been at Caldwell Banker for 17 years and you don't have any ownership? Are you kidding me? How do you mentally wrap your brain around that? Seriously. Yep. Right? And so I'm planting those little seeds and having those conversations, and I say, man, you're a rock star. I'm not sure this is a good fit for you, but how would you like to get on the phone with someone that's absolutely crushed it, that I think you'd really connect with? And I put them on the phone with a Pat Hayes or a Rob Flick. I don't try to close them myself. Could I close them myself? Probably. But then I'm just doing them an injustice, because then they're going to look at me and go, well, I could never do what he did, right? I don't try to sell them ever. I'm just trying to educate them and then get them on the phone call with somebody else to close them. And I let Gene close them. I let Rob close them. You still do that today, Scott? Absolutely, I do that today. That's how I got to where I am. Why would I change it?
That's right.
See, Pat Hayes can recruit anyone. The truth is he can. But if he does, then they're going to look at him and go, I could never be a Pat Hayes. And so he's creating this issue with them, and they're going, man, I don't know if I can do this. But if Pat Hayes is just educating them a little bit and they ask a great question, he goes, man, you should talk to Ian Flanagan. That he can answer that question, and he connects them with Ian. Now there's power there.
That's right.
It's what builds your business. And then they go, man, Pat wasn't so smart, but he sure did connect me with somebody. I think I can do that. Sometimes you have to play dumb. Seriously. Some of you know way too much. Stop trying to answer all their questions. Dumb it down. Just be excited. That's all we have, and it's the basics, guys. And the other thing that I'll tell you is 80% of the agents that I talk to right now have not a clue what EXP is or how it works. Is the opportunity still alive and well? I will tell you this with 100% certainty. It is more alive today, and the opportunity to build a massive revenue share business is easier and better today than it ever has been. The number one income earner at EXP is not here yet.
Yep.
They're not.
I agree.
You're going to look back, and some of you are going to watch it go by, right? And 5 or 6 years from now, you're going to go, oh my God, where did that guy come from? He's got 22,000 agents on his team, and he's been here 3 years. Now, how would you like for that agent to be on your team?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Right? So the way you make that happen is every time you bring an agent, they may not be a rock star, but every time you bring an agent to the team, some of you are going, well, I don't know that many people. Do you know 5? How many of you know 5 other agents you could talk to today?
Yep. Everybody does.
Everybody, right? So here's what I would do, Pat. If I didn't have a big list, I'd call my 5 agents. I go, look, I know this is not a good fit for you. I get it, but I need some help. I go to my mortgage guy. I said, man, I know you know 25 people in this city that I could talk to. I'd go to my cousin who's a real estate agent and go, I know you're laughing at me. You're a Caldwell banker. You don't think this will ever work. I get it. You're never coming, but I need your help. Can you give me the name of 5, 10, 15 agents that you think would be a good fit for what I'm doing? How many of you can do that? How many of you can make that call?
Yes. Everybody do it today.
All of you can. You know, let me tell you a secret. This is how I've recruited several agents, is they give me their list and I call their list, and then I find somebody that's ready to go, and I call the person back that gave me their name and I go, hey, listen, I know you didn't want to do this, so thanks for the contact, but you remember Joe, you gave me, Joe's fired up and he's ready to go. Are you going to sponsor him or do you want me to?
Oh, yes.
It works. What do you mean? They're going to join? Yeah, they see it. You must not have seen it, right? I mean, if you would have seen it, I mean, Joe's pretty smart. I mean, I know he's smart because you wouldn't have given me his name if he wasn't super smart, if you didn't think a lot of him. So maybe we should sit down and take a look at this again with you and Joe, because Joe's fired up. If Joe's not fired up, guess what? Mr. Joe, I know you're a little nervous. I'm glad you're joining us. Who do you know? Can you make a list of 25 agents that you think might be a good fit? And I'll call them and recruit them for you. Easiest phone call you'll ever make.
Love it.
He writes 25 names down. You pick up the phone. Hey, it's a referral. You know Joe? Yeah, Joe's a great friend of mine. Hey, he says amazing things about you. Says you're the rock star realtor of Tulsa. Is that true? Yeah, absolutely I am. Or they'll say, oh, well, maybe, whatever. You know, joke. No, seriously, he thinks you're the rock star realtor of Tulsa. Is that true? Yeah, great. Well, I'm looking for other leaders. He tells me you're one of them. You got 10 or 15 minutes for a business call. What are they going to say? Yeah, sure. I got 10, 15 minutes. Great. Now you're 3D. So now you go back to the guy that gave you Joe's name and say, hey, guess what? I got Joe and Bob. They're both joining. Joe's joining and Bob's joining under Joe. You going to sponsor them or you want me to? So you got to get creative. You got to make a decision and decide you're either going to do this or you're not. That's all it is. It's just a decision. Once you make the decision, by the way, the burning desire creates a decision. If you don't have the burning desire, you're never going to make the decision. If you create the burning desire, then the decision's easy. Then when you make the decision, the actions follow, right? I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but why aren't you doing it?
Love it. Love it. And also real quick, Scott, I see my man JJ up there at the very top of my screen. I see his shirt that he got made. Guys, I want you to see this here real quick. Scott, I think he sent us a text message in our group text thread a few days ago about this shirt. Look at this guy. He is fired up. He is on a recruiting mission, recruiting some of the top commercial agents in the industry. And he made this shirt the other day. Let's see, can you read it there? It says, let's see, Frederick, Frick, Lewis, Hayes, and Grulich. There you go,
Yeah,
baby. That's his upline. That's his upline right there. That's who he knows he can count on. He can call us. He can text us. We're here for him. JJ, you want to take yourself off mute real quick and maybe just introduce yourself real quick, because I know a lot of people don't know you. Got a lot of new agents on here. If you guys are looking to do commercial deals, here's your man right here as well too that can help you out. JJ, take it away real quick. Give
Hey,
Scott,
thanks, Pat. Yeah,
got a little minute break.
Sure. Yeah, no, I was talking to Alan here, which is in my upline, and I was on vacation, I think, in Cancun, and I saw this guy say, I guess in their family, it said grandpa, dad, great grandpa, whatever. And I said, I'm going to make a t-shirt about my upline, because what we need to talk about is uplines really do matter. And this organization is one of the best ones, obviously, in the game. And so starting to make videos with Alan, talking about how which organization you're with, it really is tied to your success. And that's why we're always checking in with all the guys that I just had on my t-shirt, all the guys on this call, because you guys are always out here helping us, and it's awesome, man. It's been a really fun ride, for sure.
Love it. Thanks for your leadership. Thanks for your support. And again, thanks for, believing in us and, leaving that other company that's called Keller Williams. Nothing bad about Keller Williams, but I know you had a great ride over there, but you saw something better. And congratulations on your success over here. And then Scott, real quick, I want to get to a few questions. I see Wild Lily Handy has her hand up. I saw that Chris Sonier has his hand up, but let's go with Wild Lily Handy. Let's open it up for a few questions. Give Scott a little break to rest his voice. But Wild Lily Handy, take it away. Good to see you. What kind of question do you have for us?
Hey, that was an accidental raising of questions.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a question. You always do. You're always wanting to talk.
No, I'm always asking, but I don't have any questions right now.
Okay. No worries. All right, let's take it on over to Chris. Chris, did you have your hand up?
I had my hand up. I just left it up too long, so.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, anybody, let's open it up. Hey, let's have some fun. Let's collaborate together. Let's have some fun. Scott shared a lot of amazing, great nuggets, guys, and he always fires me up. We don't get a chance to talk every single day like we used to whenever we were both living in San Antonio. But he's always a phone call away. He's always a text message away. And we're ready to get this to the next level and take it to the next level. We've built the foundation, and guys, we want to bring every single one of you along with us. He helped me one-on-one for many years, guys. Like he said, it is so much easier to attract agents now to EXP. We've got videos that corporate has put out. We've got websites that corporate put out. Guys, whenever we were doing this 7 years ago, it was a little short video. It was our own slide deck that we created, that we were doing the lunch and learns with, right? Scott threw me to the wolves and said, hey, you know what? I want to develop you as a leader. I'll never forget that day. We were at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse doing lunch and learns every single week. We used to do them on Wednesdays. We left him from Maggiano's after 2 years, went over to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, moved him to a Friday. He was grooming me to become a leader because he was getting ready to leave San Antonio and move to Florida. And he came to me that Friday morning and said, hey, I know you always kind of do the introductions to us and you introduce us, but you know what? I'm going to need you to do the presentation with me today. Tracy is sick. She's not going to be able to make it. And my stomach dropped, and he threw me to the wolves, guys, but I did it, right? I did the first part of the presentation, introduced him. He did the second part of the presentation, and we crushed it, and we rocked it, and we had a lot of fun. We had about 30 or 40 agents there to fill the room. I think we had about 5 or 6 guests that joined the company that day. And so, guys, if you're not doing presentations, if you're not doing lunch and learns, right? Scott and Rob came to me and said, guys, the pixie dust to growing this business is get everybody together and do lunch and learns every single week. Ron, hey, can you mute yourself real quick? You got yourself on. You got an open mic right there, Ron. If you can mute yourself, that'd be great. He said, hey, the pixie dust to growing this business is the lunch and learns, right? So if you guys aren't doing lunch and learns, get with us. We'll help you create a lunch and learn. We'll help you, tell you how to do it. They're a lot of fun, right? And we've been doing them ever since, right? And so if there's not a lunch and learn in your city, in your area, become the leader and start one, because I promise you, if you do it consistently every single week or every other week or once a month or whatever, just start off. I promise you, your business will explode. And Scott told me, hey, whenever I leave San Antonio, I want you to be the ringleader to keep this going on. And we did for almost 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. And guys, that's how I grew my organization to 5,200 agents. Scott asked me, how bad do you want it? Right? Guys, I was still selling real estate for almost 3 years straight while I was building my revenue share organization, right? That's why we were on the phones late at night crying to each other at 2 o'clock in the morning. This agent doesn't get it. This agent left. This agent I worked so hard on and got stolen by another agent. I don't get it. We cried together and laughed together and cried together and laughed together. Blood, sweat, tears, right? But I never gave up on the opportunity. I never gave up on Scott. He always motivated me, always kept me going, always kept my head up. And guys, it's not easy, but I'll tell you what, it's much easier now than it was 7 years ago. Whenever everybody laughed at us, they said, EXP who? You're a penny stock. You have less than 1,000 agents. You guys are over the counter. Everything, guys, everything, right? Now Scott and I have been to NASDAQ. We've rang the bell with NASDAQ. We've rang the bell with corporate. We're growing like crazy. We're almost at 100,000 agents, right? Right. So now we can say, hey, we've been there, done that, right? You made fun of us 7 years ago. Look at us now, right? I still have agents calling me up still to this day going, oh my God, I should have joined you whenever you and Scott were just starting this little company off in San Antonio called EXP. Dang it, I missed it. No, you didn't. Now you're ready. Now come on. Now come on, right? All right, so I see a few more hands up real quick. Scott, let's answer some questions together. Greg, take it away first, and then Ron. Greg, what questions do you have for us? We got about 20 minutes left, or maybe about 15 minutes or so, because I want everybody to go to leadership after this in EXP world. Give you about 5 minutes or so to get a coffee and use the restroom. But Greg, take it away, my friend. What question do you have?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, Scott, who called you?
I know that answer.
Yeah, Rob Flick called me the morning after he saw the opportunity from Gene Frederick.
Yep. Love it. Life-changing phone call right there. All right, Ron.
Yes. Hi, Pat. Hi, Scott. Today, Sherry and I are having coffee with a commercial agent. What would be the best thing to say to him?
Well, you know what? I'm going to let JJ, the commercial guru, unmute himself real quick and answer that question for you, because he is the commercial expert here on the call. I believe I don't see any other real big commercial guys, but JJ, answer that question for Ron.
So, and I think this is an opportunity we don't talk about it as much. For having a $20,000 cap with all of the tools that EXP commercial gives is unheard of. It's like showing cavemen fire. And what I wish I had the map on me, but when I was at EXP Con and doing all the commercial stuff, if he's in Texas, for instance, Jimmy Huang that runs EXP commercial, this agent that you're talking to, tell him that he will be signed off on doing business in about 47 out of the 50 states, and the other, or maybe 46, and the 4 states that he's not able to do it in is not because EXP won't allow him to do it in it. It's because the actual state does not allow you to do commercial real estate unless you're a resident of the state. So if he's doing it local, like I was before I joined the company, then the moment that he joins EXP, he's able to blow his own business up. His production will go nationwide. And then everything that he's paying for right now, which is Build Out, CoStar, LoopNet, all these different things, we just like how we got health insurance here as a company, we're buying it as a bulk, and so it's super cheap. I would love to show him my P&Ls from last year with Keller Williams, commercial versus EXP commercial. I'm just more profitable. It just doesn't make sense to be with the big guys. He might be with CBRE or JLL or Realty or some of the big guys. They take 50% of these guys' commissions indefinitely. There's no cap. And pretty much they're charging him for some girl to do flyers. If you can show him a model where he can go to EXP, and by the way, in commercial, paying $20,000 in cap is maybe 2 to 3 deals. And so if you can tell him, like, after, just ask him what his production was the year before, and then do the math on a cocktail napkin and say, look, man, you would have made this much over here. The fees are so much less. You have the opportunity to do real estate in 46 out of the 51 states. I say 51 because our man Scott's over there in Puerto Rico, so we're gonna count that one. And so, and when his eyes should pretty much start bleeding like stigmata, but if it doesn't, man, I'm more than happy to talk to him. And we can get him on, if he's a big player too. I know Pat and I can get him with Jimmy Huang. That's how I came. That's when I was done. When I talked to Jimmy out in on the West Coast, if he's a real commercial guy, and once you start to talk to Jimmy, you're like, what the heck have I been doing? It's like showing cavemen fire. I don't think we talk about it enough. If you want to be the next Pat Hayes, be the next Pat Hayes on commercial, because there's so many commercial guys that are giving their broker 60% to 40 to 60% is what they're giving them.
Wow. That's
and
crazy.
It's indefinite. There's no caps for these guys and girls.
Crazy.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
There you go, Ron. Yep. Good
You're
luck.
welcome.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You bet. Eric, I see you. Got your hand raised. Take yourself off mute and ask a question to Scott.
Scott, it's good to see you again. I do have a question. You have talked about actually baiting the person that gave you the names by having somebody to recruit. Are you going to recruit them, or am I? How far in depth do you do that? I mean, it's obviously a great plan and strategy. So can you elaborate on that? I know you've got a lot of tricks up your sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, really it's more of a mindset thing than a trick for me. I mean, and especially if I've got an agent that maybe doesn't think they know a lot of people, hey, if you can go recruit or meet or tractor, if it's not about who you know, it's the people they know, right? So it's the compounding effect. If they know 5, they know 25, and those 25 know 25 each. Now, how many people do you have in your database, right? So now you have over 600 people to talk to because you knew 5 people, right? And so, and the referral conversation is the easiest conversation in the world, right? So whether they join or not doesn't matter. I mean, you can go as deep as you want. It's just a referral. It's like how deep would you go to get a referral to get a listing? It's infinite, right? You would go, I mean, you're just asking people who they know. And it's no different when you're attracting agents. But it does work. I mean, if you do it correctly, if you get you get someone underneath them that's excited, I promise you this, their attitude changes and they want to sit down and talk now. When they maybe before, they really weren't paying that much attention. At least now they're going to pay attention. And so and if you could go 10 deep. I mean, it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is you're just looking for people that are looking for us, right? So it's just another way to go through the deck of cards to look for aces. But I can tell you, you drive it 4 or 5 deep and get somebody in the 5th or 6th level, it's like, okay, let's think about it. I recruited, Pat, who recruited Chris is on here, recruited Ian, who recruited Connor, who recruited Mike Sherrard. You really think I have to worry about Pat and Chris and Ian being excited anymore?
No.
They got Mike Sherrard under them. He's a fire in the basement, right? And now Mike has people underneath him who have people underneath him. And it just keeps going, right? So it's job security. And so when you get someone on your 5th, 6th, or 7th level that's really crushing it, now all of a sudden, all the people above them, and not that those guys weren't leaders. I mean, they're all leaders. They've all been crushing it. It's just, you're looking for that one person, that really solidifies things for you that you can work with and run with. And all of those people have found that person that they, locked arms with. And so for me, I'm looking for other leaders, and I don't care where they come from, but I know if I find them in depth, that I secure that leg and everybody above them, whether they were excited or not, now is probably going to get excited. And so that's why you continue to never, ever give up on someone, because you don't know who they know and you don't know what's going to happen in their life to where all of a sudden they go, man, now I got to do this, Scott. Now I got to go crush it. So
I love it. I love it. Real quick, guys, I want to share this little testimony real quick, because I shared that I'm at 5,200 agents, and just picking up the phone and calling one person who I called my man, Ian Flanagan, and he just sent me a text message. As of today, his revenue share organization is at 371 agents. Guys, I would not be where I'm at without picking up the phone and calling that one agent, Ian Flanagan, who I put him in touch with Scott's sponsor, Rob Flick, up in Dallas, because they both lived up in Dallas. I said, hey, you watched the video. I'm not the expert. Rob is. Let me connect you with Rob. I think you guys will like each other. You guys are investors. You guys are smart people, realtors. You guys are going to connect together. They had a 5-hour coffee meeting that day whenever I connected them together. And I was on pins and needles. Did it go well? Did it go well? Did it go well? Because I knew Ian was a big influencer. He was one of my coaches in real estate. Whenever I got into real estate for real estate investing, he was one of my coaches, right? And I was a little scared and nervous to pick up the phone and call him because I knew he was busy. Him and his partners were doing seminars and selling courses and flipping houses and buying houses and building portfolios. And I was a little afraid, man. You know, oh my God, this guy really doesn't know me, but I'm his student. Here's the student calling up the coach saying, hey, I just left this organization and I just joined this, you know, and I hit him with passive income. Hey, I think you'll like this. It's got passive income. It's got revenue share. It's got that mailbox money, investor questions, right? Investor words. And he goes, shit, man, send me the video. I'm all in. I'll let him watch the video. Hey, I think you need to connect with Rob Flick. And Ian, if you want to take yourself off mute, just kind of share a quick little 1-minute testimonial how that 4-hour, 5-hour meeting was with Rob Flick. And now it's changed your life, man. And I'm forever grateful for you.
Yeah, you know, Rob is it's pretty amazing that he landed in my backyard. Of all the places for that person, if you know him, to land and live. Those of you that meet him and connect with him, it's interesting because, you know, Rob put the flag down here and it was all on the belief that what Glenn created was a better way for agents. And when Gene saw that and he said, you're going to give the agents what? You're going to let them make what? He's like, yeah, we're going to give half of it back to the agents. You can't buy regions. You can't do all that. It's one independent company. So Gene Frederick sold all of his franchises that it took him decades to build. He was the first regional owner to pull out of Keller, 6 offices, 2 regions. And he was our broker here in Texas. And they just said, look, guys, this is going to change the world. And we followed their lead. Gene's been in the business for, 3-4 decades. Him and Rob built Keller Williams. Like, these guys were the OGs of RE/MAX, Realty Executives, Keller Williams, all these other independent brokers. And then with our leader, Glenn Sanford, what he's done. I mean, this is a company that you hang your license with and retire with dignity and then pass the legacy onto your family. So yeah, I tell you, the rev share saved our butts. I mean,
yes,
it really has. You know, when the market fell off the cliff last year in July, right? Yeah. I personally closed 7 transactions that month in real estate. And then it was like 3 for the rest of the year, but I had hundreds of transactions that I was getting paid on through revenue share. So it's a true ownership opportunity to sit at the table and you earn the royalties that the big cats at the other companies do. So you can pull your own seat up to the table. Compensation for contribution. The more you contribute to the company, the more you'll be rewarded. So yeah, it's life-changing, guys.
Love it.
I can help you out.
Yeah, baby. Thank you. Forever grateful for you taking my phone call 6.5, 7 years ago. Awesome. All right, guys, we got 2 questions and we got about 4 or 5 minutes left. I see Val. Val, you got a question. You got your hand raised. Take yourself off mute. And what do you got for Scott?
Good morning, everybody. So I'm really trying to focus in on my rev share, but I'm only 2 years in and I have 3 agents right now that I've attracted to EXP. But I know a lot of agents here in San Antonio that are friends of mine. A couple of them actually are partners, or husband and wife partners, and they own their own brokerage. And I'm just curious as to how you would approach them because, they get their 100%, and they work from home. And so I just want to know what your thoughts are, what you would say to those people that feel like, well, we've already invested in our own thing. Why would we move over now?
That's a great one. Scott, you want to take that one? I know you've attracted a lot of, boutique brokers. So have I, but you want to take that one?
Yeah, we can take it together, Pat. I mean, it's, I'm just looking to have conversations. Again, I'm just looking for people that are looking for us. I gave up a long time ago trying to figure out who's going to do it and who isn't. And quite frankly, when you have that attitude, it'll just drive you crazy. So for me, it's a numbers game. Yes, it's nice to get brokers. Brokers have egos. There's a reason why they put their name on the door. They are harder to recruit, but if they're a big broker, they can be really worth it. So what I'm looking for is to kind of hit their pain points. Valerie is, talking about reducing their liability, reducing their overhead, the one lawsuit that's going to take them down if they're a broker, having to, expansion is expensive. And so, it's really, when I'm talking about EXP, I say, look, you're not giving up anything. It's an add-on to what you're already doing. EXP doesn't want you to give up your brand. They don't want you to give up your name. They just want to help you build and grow and put more money in your pocket. And yeah, it's going to cost you $16,000 cap, but in a year to 2 years, if you're not getting more than that back, if you're not 100% plus, it's because you're not doing anything and you're not taking advantage of the model and you're not a builder. So are you a builder or not? I mean, if you're a mom and pop and you got one agent under you, probably not a builder, right? They're just, basically they just did it because they don't want the overhead, they don't want the liability, and they want to do a few deals a year and don't want to grow. So I'm going to ask them, do you want to grow? Is that part of your business plan? Because it might not be if they're in that situation. I'm not going to waste a lot of time and energy on someone that's not interested in building and growing, right? I'm looking for people that want to build, that want to grow, that want to expand, that are entrepreneurs, that are business builders, that are like-minded. It's the whole, I use this conceptually, I use this all the time, but it's like a rope, right? The EXP is a huge rope, right? But can you push a rope? Think about it. Can you push it? What happens if you try to push a rope?
Yeah.
But you can pull it if they want to tie on, right? And so I love what Dave Kennord says. I'm looking people that are swimming towards the boat. If they're swimming towards the boat, I'll help throw them in the boat all day long. But if they're swimming away from the boat, I got to wait because they're not ready. Their time's not right. I had to wait a couple hours for Pat, right? Because he was swimming away from the boat. And then all of a sudden, he's like, oh, man, that boat's gone. The one he thought he was swimming towards just disappeared, right? And so
I needed another boat to swim to.
Yeah, I got to find a boat somewhere, right? Yeah. And so you don't know when that's going to happen for them. Your job is just to get as many, think of it as fishing, if you ever run a trot line, right? You catch a lot more fish with a trot line than a single line because you got a lot more hooks in the water. So stop thinking about if I could get this person or if I could just get that person. That mindset is going to kill you. And my mindset is to be a beacon of light and a lifeboat for anyone that is looking to win or a change or that needs help and support. And I promise you, they're out there in the droves. If you talk to 10, you're going to find 4. Yeah. Work with those people.
I love it. I love it. And real quick, Scott, I'll piggyback on that, Val. What I kind of say is that I treat brokers the same way that I treat agents. Just a few little things that I say a little bit differently to brokers. Yeah. And I know Trey Fullen, he put it in the comments here too. Hey, they're egos, right? They've got big heads, right? And I hate to say that, but they're egos and they're big headed and it's all about them. It's their brand, their business. Why would I ever go to another company that I've built, right? And I always say, hey, listen, right? And he nailed it on the head with 100%. Hey, I get that you're at 100%, but why not go to 500%? Why not go to 1,000? Why not go to 5,000%? And then also with brokers, hey, for an example, if they've got 20 agents, can you imagine your 20 agents going to 1,000 agents, going to 2,000 agents, growing to 5,000 agents like me, broker? I've got a team of over 5,200 agents spanning 47 states, 5 Canadian provinces, and 16 countries that EXP pays me 6 figures every single month, over $1 million every single year. Does your team do that? Right? So just ask a few little questions, get that wheel spinning for them, show them the video, get them on a 3-way phone call, get them in front of somebody. It's the exact same process, but you just may talk. You just may say a few different words, few different sentences. You ask him a few different questions to a broker than to another agent, but it's kind of all about the same though. But again, they got big egos, like Scott said. They're big headed, right? You know, and you know, sometimes they're a little bit difficult, but trust me, they're called brokers for a reason. They're broke. They aren't broke. They're out there selling real estate still because they got to pay the bills, because the agents aren't paying the bills, right? They got to be out there hustling deals, right? They're tired. They're tired. All right, one last question. We're almost at the top of the hour. Gary, I see your hand raised. Take yourself off mute. Last question for Scott, and then we'll let everybody go. Go ahead. Let's see, I think you're still on mute, Gary. I see your hand raised there. Let's see, I don't think I can take you off mute myself. No. Let's see, Gary, do you have a question? Yes or no? No? Yes? Let's see, you're still on mute, my man. Oh, okay, sorry. All right, guys. Well, hey, we're at the top of the hour. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Scott, you fired me up all the time, man. I love getting into the trenches with you and having fun and sharing wins, sharing success stories. You know, sharing our time together the last 7 years. You know, I look at you as a second dad, older brother, and we always like to have a lot of fun. And I'll tell you what, guys, hey, he's a wealth of knowledge. Use him. He's there. Just because he's living in Puerto Rico on the beach, living the Puerto Rican life, doesn't mean he's not going to take your phone call or your text message. We talk all the time. We've talked probably 5 times this week, you know? And so, guys, and I'm getting ready to book a flight on my calendar to go over there and spend a week with him and mastermind with him together. He invited me graciously to go spend a week in April with him at his house and mastermind together and have fun and set goals, right? Set goals. If you guys don't have a vision board or a wealth chart, go Google Rob Flick's wealth chart training. Go make a vision board. Like I got my new one right here. I just made my new vision board this week. Right? Go create a vision board. Go make a vision board. This is my second vision board that I created because my first one, thanks to the revenue share, I was able to check off almost every single one of my pictures off my list that I made 3 years ago because of the revenue share, because Scott told me to go make a vision board for your family. Go do it. And I was able to do it. So guys, enjoy your Friday. Scott, thanks for everything. Thanks for your leadership. Love you, man. Guys, go out there, go talk to those agents, make a list of 5 agents, call 5 agents today and start creating some wealth for you with the revenue share, with the passive income. Scott, I love you, man. Ian, thank you, guys. Take care. We'll see you back here next Friday. Love you guys. Have a good week and God bless.